Welcome to the Coop Tank. I'm your host, Steve Cooper, coming to you from SuiteRecording in beautiful Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I got to tell you, this is the last show of 2024, and it's been a great year. We've had some great guests, but I want to give big thanks to Joe Gangemi, my producer. I'll tell you, man, Joe, I look good and I sound good, but Joe makes me look good and sound better. Joe is the best producer around. He's a perfectionist. He makes sure that all my shows look great. I met Joe a while ago, and I could tell right off the bat he's not full of crap. He does a great job, and he's a hard worker. So if you have a podcast or you want to do streaming, which he'll tell you about in a second, you got to look him up. I'm here for a reason because he kicks ass. And so, Joe, thank you for all you do. And tell us a little about SuiteRecording.
Coop, thanks so much for that, brother. I really appreciate you. So SuiteRecording is a podcast studio in Mount Laurel where we help brands and businesses to leverage the power of podcasting and video content. We do a lot of things here, but mainly we like to work with brands and businesses to generate a lot of content for themselves in a very efficient manner. And podcasting is also great for, business development, just like the way that Coop uses it to strengthen relationships and make new connections, and to kind of like share that with the world. So it's a really powerful tool for your business. And so you can learn more at SuiteRecording.com, or you can contact us anytime at hello@SuiteRecording.com. That's SUITE. Take it away, Coop.
All right, I want to also give a shout out to my sponsor. My sponsor is Laurel Lanes. They're the ultimate entertainment center. They're right there on Route 73 in Maple Shade. They have 60 lanes of bowling. They have state-of-the-art arcade games. They have a private luxury suite. They have something for everyone. And it's great for corporate events, birthday parties, or just a night out on town. And they're on restaurant bar, Splits Bar and Grills, where I host Cocktails with Cooper, and they're great. They take care of you. They have a great happy hour Monday through Friday from 4 to 7. And if you do your first networking event there, they'll give 10% of their proceeds back to your charity of choice. And finally, on your way out, don't forget they have a Lickety Splits. It's an ice cream stand. They have homemade ice cream. It's amazing. And some have alcohol. I've had the butter pecan bourbon. It kicks ass. So please go check out Laurel Lanes and Splits. Go to laurellNewjersey.com. Okay, we have a great show. We have 3 gentlemen I've known for a while. My first guest from Omnia Creative is Jason Ryan. How you doing, Jason?
Good, Coop. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. And another gentleman returning. He was a solo act on the Coop Tank, and he did a roundtable from the law office of Michael E. Adler. It's Michael Adler. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great. Great to be always back in the Coop Tank.
And then from Diamond State Financial Group, a man with a name you can pronounce 2 ways. You can pronounce it Alex Cavaliere, or you can pronounce it Alex Cavaliere. It's Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Great to see you, Steve. I'm doing excellent. Happy Friday.
All right. So, Jason, tell us a little about what you do and what Omnia Creative is.
All right. So, obviously, I'm the owner of Omnia Creative. We are a full-service digital agency. We provide custom website design, development, search engine optimization, and some digital marketing. So essentially, we help small to medium-sized businesses who are in growth mode looking to up their visibility and brand visibility online, utilizing their online properties like their website and social media channels and stuff like that.
Okay. And Michael, tell us a little more about Michael E. Adler, law
office. Thanks, Coop. I manage a law firm, and I mostly focus on working with small, mid-sized businesses, startup entrepreneurs on everything from corporate formation to partnership agreements and partnership fights and business divorces. I also do a lot of real estate. I work with artists, and I work with a lot of nonprofit organizations on sort of everything from soup to nuts.
Okay. And Alex, tell us a little more about Diamond State Financial Group, and tell us about the certification you just got.
Sure. Yeah, so Diamond State, we're an independent financial planning firm based out of Delaware. We do business all over the country. I recently received my CFP designation, so I'm a certified financial planner, which essentially is like getting your black belt in financial planning. I also hold my CSLP designation, so I have a specialty in student loan repayment strategies as well. So everything from forgiveness to just getting cash flow under control. And yeah, in a nutshell, just helping clients with everything from retirement planning, young professionals graduating and getting their first plan implemented. Failing the plan is planning to fail. So we're here to just help people go through those transitions in life and make sure they're doing everything correctly.
Okay. You know what I like about this panel today is everyone's in a very different field. And I always like I would never have three lawyers together because that's it's just or three what web guys or financial guys. It doesn't work that way. But what always fascinates me is how everyone gets to where they've gotten. We all have all these different stories, how we ended up what we do. We're gonna start with you, Michael. How did you end up owning your law firm and your path to law?
Yeah, so my dad went to law school when I was in third grade. So that was a shock for our family. He went full-time day. And so I got to see him sort of start his own practice in midlife. I worked there on weekends and got to see him with clients. I knew I was going to go to law school probably starting in middle school. So then I just went to high school, went to college, went to law school, started at the big firms, did that for like 8 years, two large Philadelphia firms. Then I was general counsel of a large company and I had a great time for a few years. Then I went back to big firm life as a partner in a mid-sized firm. And finally, when I turned 40, I opened my own firm. So I've had my own practice now for, almost 12 years. But it's been a great run. Wouldn't have done it any differently. And I've give back to a lot of law students and sort of help them with their career mentoring path as well, because there's lots of different things you can do with a law degree and lots of different reasons to be a lawyer or to not be a lawyer anymore. All that is fine.
God, you're almost 50. I went to your 50th birthday party. That was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And he had a shirt. It's a Michael Adler shirt. I have a Michael Adler shirt. I should have worn that today.
That would have been awesome.
I told Joanne, never wear it in bed because I want to lean over in the morning and see Michael Adler facing up at me.
You got that logo too of my head.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, is that me? No. Alex, financial planning. What was your path?
Oh man, I'll give you the short version, but I had a very different trajectory to get here than most probably. So I went to a vocational high school, so I wasn't even planning to go to college originally. And I was my first job, I was 16 and I worked for a heating and air conditioning contractor for about a year. I hated it. The work was super hard for the pay, and I was just like, man, maybe this isn't for me. Found myself back at like community college, just trying to figure out what was going to, be my thing. Steve, I'm a musician, and along the way, I've always given guitar lessons and played in bands. I found myself at Berklee College of Music in 2014. I kind of took that as a sign of like, okay, I got into a really, like a prestigious music school. Maybe this is where I'm meant to be. I was there for a year. It was really, really expensive, and my family was going through some financial issues at that time. So I had to come back home and not go back. So that was probably a big turning point for me, where I realized like, wow, I just took out this gigantic student loan. I don't know anything about money. My family's kind of struggling right now. Like, what can I do? So I knew I wanted to get a bachelor's degree. So I went back to Rowan to get a finance degree. And I thought, okay, well, I don't want to ever be in a situation like this again. Let me understand everything I can about money and finance. And then, that's how I landed here today. So yeah, definitely a different trajectory. I played in a wedding band up until like last year. So I've always had that in my back pocket. So I met my wife. She's a singer. But yeah, definitely a very non-traditional route to what I'm doing today, but it definitely influenced me to do what I do, and I love it.
And a little unknown fact to you listeners and watchers. So Alex's band was playing in Stone Harbor, and Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers sat in and played drums because he's doing an art show across the street. So that's pretty cool. So that's that's good. And we have a lot of different people in here today. And Jason, now we've talked about what was your path to being the owner of Omnia?
Man, it is such a long story, and we certainly don't have enough time today to get through all of it, but I'll try and shorten it up as much as possible. So I was painting houses for a living, interior, exterior. It's a rough gig, and it was tough. It's not something I saw myself doing for the rest of my life. So when my daughter was going to be born in 2005, I decided to switch paths. Went back to school to learn how to code. And I took night classes as I was working as a full-time painter. Quickly graduated out of that. Started working for a couple local IT firms, and then when the market crashed in 2008, I was working for a pretty big PR company out of Marlton. where I was maybe about a dozen or so employees there. The boss basically let everybody else go except me and handed me a computer off his desk, off the desk I was working at. Said, "Here, take this. We're going to work from home." And this was in 2009. And I was like,
Wow.
"What? You let go of everybody else except me? That's wild." So
Wow.
yeah, he kept me busy for about 3 years. Through a couple different channels, I wound up meeting this other guy who did what I did. We just kind of hit it off. I too was a musician for many years, played guitar. And while I was doing that, I was also doing graphic design. I was doing T-shirts, posters, and artwork, CD artwork, and stuff like that for bands. So I always had a love for computers. So my natural, I guess, progression was into coding. So I wound up meeting this guy who worked for another remote company out of San Antonio. So I wound up getting hired with them, worked for them for roughly about 6 years, decided to part ways in 2016 due to, again, long story, another conversation. Um, the day I left that company, I actually saw a video from Gary Vee. It's called 6 Minutes for the Rest of Your Life. And if nobody's ever seen that video, I highly recommend going to check that out on YouTube. Um, I never thought about owning my own business. My uncle did for 30 years. He always just knocked it every chance that he could, chasing this guy for money, blah, blah, blah. It sounded like a nightmare, and I never wanted to own my own business. But after working remotely since 2009 to 2016, I didn't want to commute to Center City to keep doing what I was doing. I had a great schedule with my daughter's mother and visitation with my daughter, and I didn't want to ruin that schedule. So after seeing that video popped up in my Facebook feed that afternoon, I was like, whoa, I think I need to just start my own business. And it spoke to me. So that's what I did. I wound up forming an LLC and just got started. Met a couple local business owners in the area who got me started in networking. Um, Joined a couple groups right out of the gate, and then I bounced around to a couple different chambers. And next thing you know, 8.5 years, here I am. Still owner of Omnia Creative. We even made it through the pandemic, which was wild.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You get like business videos on your feed. I get like on Facebook, I get like these restaurants that have great specials. I'm like, this is great happy hour. And they're in Texas. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing on my feed? They're in Texas. I'm like, I get so pissed. I'm like, I could have got like 8 wings for $2, but now I have to go pay $1 a wing. So as I said earlier, this is my last show of the year. And so 2024 is gone, man. And I want to know, and we'll start with you, Alex. Did you accomplish did you accomplish the goals you set for yourself for 24? And do you feel that it was a good year in your growth, both personally and for business?
Yeah, that's a great question. You always feel like you had from personally, I always feel like you look at some of your harder moments and you're like, oh, I could have done more there, right? Like you can always sit there and judge yourself and pick yourself apart. But I think the year I had, I did the best I could with what I had. And my big goals were, getting this designation to CFP was huge. That took like no less than 3 months between all the studying and prep and whatnot. So that ate up a good chunk of my year. And then earlier this year, I also got certified to teach yoga classes. So that was a cool goal, and I taught my first class. So anyway, it's to say like I felt like I was a little spread thin between some different things that I had, and that's a good learning lesson for me is to try to focus on maybe one thing at a time instead of diverting my attention to all these different things at once. But I'd say I think it went as good as it could have been. Save some personal things that were going on, but yeah, it was. I'd say I'm really happy how the year turned out, and I'm really excited for 2025, given coming into the new year with some big accomplishments.
That's awesome. That's good. That's good. How about you, Jason? How was you looking back at 2024? What's your take on it? Was it something? Did you hit your goals? Did you feel you accomplished things? I mean, do you feel good about that the end this past year? Because a lot of times I always think people don't give themselves enough credit. Sometimes they don't. They look at it and they go, "Oh well, I didn't do this," but they really kicked ass. I mean, so what's your take on your 2024?
Well, again, considering I never was a business owner, and I'm not a sales guy. I'm a coder. So um, the fact that we are even here still is awesome. Um, as far as like goals and stuff like that, there are some goals that we did hit. We hit some major milestones this year in terms of our production and output and the kind of results we've been getting this year with all the changes that Google's been pushing out. So we've been staying on top of all of that, but I'm constantly learning. Business was always new to me. I'm still learning every single day. It's the ins and outs of being a business owner and also being a manager of a small team. That's constantly, pushing boundaries as far as learning is concerned. But yeah, I mean, we've done very well this year. There's still a couple goals that we did not hit that we're still working towards and learning how to figure that out as we move along. We're still looking for help. I've been struggling with trying to find some additional help in certain areas, and once we can get that into place, then we can really start figuring out, what our primary objectives are and try and hit them for 2025.
Okay, that's cool. That's good, though. You're in the right direction. How about you, Michael? I know you traveled a lot. I know we both went to Italy this year. I know that. But looking back at your year, because you've been in the practice for a while, so what is your take on the year? I mean, I know you're newly married. You're newlywed, so that always is different when you're running a business. But how do you look back on 2024?
2024 was a really good year. I got married at the end of 2023, so I've been married 1 year to Ashley. I'm not much of a goal setter. When I look ahead at 2025 also, I'm not really setting forth goals. I try to do the same thing I'm doing and to sort of be present for myself, my family, my clients, and to keep mentoring business owners and young law students. I continually do that. So I think 2024 was as good as 2023. I don't really try to, as long as I am making enough money to pay my bills, putting a little bit of away and making sure that my kids have something later for college or beyond, then I consider it a very successful year. And that's what I'm hoping to do for 2025.
All right, that's good. Now I'm going to stay with you, Michael, for this question because you're a busy guy. You're always making stuff happen. You've always been your hands in a lot of pots, and which is great. And I think you're visionary at some point. What motivates you? What motivates you daily to get up? I mean, now you're newly married. I'm sure you want to hang out with Ashley. You want to, your stepdaughter, your kids. What motivates you though on a daily basis? What makes you tick?
Yeah, I think again, being a legacy for my children. I now have a third, stepdaughter, and just sort of watching her grow. She's in fourth grade now. I think about that a lot. I always say that success is not the result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. So it's for something from within that sort of makes me want to continue to do what I've been doing, leave a good mark on organizations or with clients or with friends, and just be there for everybody. It's always been from within, especially as a solo entrepreneur. Nobody's going to tell you to do something if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. You're not going to make money. So I've always had that inner spark. And now I try to impart those lessons on others as I get a little grayer. Every time I'm on your show, I'm a little more grayer, I notice. So
look at this. I'm really gray. So
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I would shave off this and grow the porn mustache, but my wife hates that because I had that handlebar mustache for a while, and we were going to Jamaica for a vacation. She's like, "You're shaving that?" I go, "It looks good." She goes, "No, I'm not getting vacation pictures with you because I look like a drug cartel because I had the Panamanian hat and the thing, and I look like a drug cartel runner." I was like, I could be like, it'd be great. So, Alex, you've been a busy year, married guy. What motivates you? When you wake up, what makes you tick? What motivates you?
Yeah, I'm like a results and activity guy. I love having plans. I love having stuff to look forward to, projects, that sort of thing is what really gets me fired up. When I don't have things to do is when I find myself sort of dwindling aimlessly. Like, what do I do with my free time? I always need something to do. So yeah, like I already mentioned, being a musician and exiting my really busy wedding band from a year or two ago, our new project for the year is my wife and I, we're just doing some acoustic happy hours, right? Playing at some bars, just she's singing, I'm playing guitar, just some basic light, fun stuff like that. And that's transpired into a whole project now where I'm getting new gear and new stuff to sort of expand the sound and to get more gigs and such. So that's fun. And then in addition to that, like I have essentially I run my own business of financial planning clients, like 300 plus people I'm servicing there too. Seeing their results is huge. There's been a lot of changes in like the student loan repayment space. And like in 2023, for example, I was able to get, a certain amount of people, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loans forgiven. And that was just like the most tremendous feeling in the world, was getting texts of like, is this real? It says $0 balance. And I'm like, yes, we did it. So that's the kind of stuff that really motivates me, is just seeing the results of the work that I'm putting in for my clients, for myself. And, whether it's financial planning, I'm teaching a yoga class, I'm entertaining on a weekend somewhere. I just like seeing people happy by the fruits of my labor is really what motivates me.
Okay, how about you, Jason? What motivates you?
Yeah, I'm much like Alex. I'm very results driven. Always have been. I'm in a space where, any kid with a laptop can, basically build a website using whatever website builder out there or whatever. But when it comes to getting results, you definitely have to have the technical know-how and the experience on how to do that and how to navigate, obviously Google being the biggest search in the world, and then the others behind it. You have to stay on top of all this. And if you're not, then you kind of fall behind the curve, so to speak. And you just don't get the results. And, with the industry that I'm in, every client that comes to us, it seems like we're always the last case scenario. We hear all the horror stories of other agencies who talk a big game, promise rainbows and unicorns, this, that, and the other thing. And 8 months go by after they spend thousands of dollars to try and get where they want to go. They just never produced any results. So again, with not being a sales guy, I'm not a salesy kind of guy, and no disrespect to any salespeople out there, but I'm not a fan of salespeople. Never have been. So when I started my business, I saw the need for openness and transparency. And I bring that to my clients every single day. By the time they get to us, they've been through the mill. They're tired of hearing this, that, and the other thing, and they just want results. So our main objective is to provide them with a strategy. Here's what we need to do in order to meet your objectives, and then execute on that. And when they see the results that we get them, that's what helps me sleep at night, knowing that I didn't need to sell them the kitchen sink to get them to come on board, or I don't need to take over the world. I'm much like them. They're business owners. I know how it is. It's tough starting a business and getting going, and the single business owners, or maybe they have a small team or this, that, and the other thing, and they want to grow. The website is their foundation, and everything thrives off of that. So if your website's not great and you don't have a great foundation, much like a house, the house is going to fall in on itself. So you got to have that solid foundation for everything else to work. And that's where we strive, and that's what we specialize in, to help them get those results that they're looking for. And again, just meeting those objectives and seeing them get these results is what helps me sleep at night, and what drives me to get out of bed every morning. Because when a client sees these results and they come back, I get emails all the time. Hey, I can't believe how many leads we're getting, X, Y, and Z, or whatever. And those types of emails that come in every other day is what really, really drives me every day.
Okay. I just thought of it. Alex, you play guitar. Jason plays the guitar. Joe Gangemi plays the guitar. We got to find a bassist and a drum player and a singer. And we have the Coop Tank heavy metal band. Mike, do you play an instrument?
I used to play the trombone. It's still in the garage. I pull it out every once in a while so I can throw that little jazz.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the Coop Tank band, I'll do spoken word. I'll be like a boop, 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 because I can't sing. I do a great Lou Reed impression.
Lou Reed,
But I can do that, but that's all I can sing. So, Let's talk about ourselves. I always sit there. We're not on LinkedIn, so you don't have to make up the facade. You don't have to say, "Hey, look at me. I'm the best fucking thing in the world," because you see that a lot. But I'm giving you a chance now, as my mother would say. And Michael, she would say, "Toot your own horn." So, Michael, you're actually a trombone player, so you can toot your own horn. But what's a strong point in your personality that you're glad you have? And we'll start with you, Alex. What is a quality or personality that you're really glad you have and you are not afraid to tell people you have it?
Yeah, I am very persistent when I think there's a big opportunity to help, or when I think there's a change that can be made that can put somebody in like a much better place. And I guess this is more regarding like the work that I do, but you know, being able to take some complicated, and like in my industry, it's a lot of complicated information, jargon, there's always changes happening and so on. So being able to take that and sort of filtering it so that people can actually understand what I'm talking about and just helping them implement it and get through the motions. I think I'm very strong at that. Most of my clients are nurses and young physicians who are like, I don't know anything about your world. Like, tell give me the 1, 2 quick, easy way how I can get set up here. What are the important things? And just giving them the boom, boom, boom checklist and showing them how it will all work out. I think that's what my superpower might be.
Okay. How about you, Jason? What's a quality that you're glad you possess, maybe in your personality?
Well, like I said before everybody else joined up, I'm brutally honest and transparent, sometimes to my own detriment. Again, I'm not a sales guy, so other business owners that I've just had talks with and discussed our business model and stuff like that, and they all think I'm nuts. We're not contract driven on a lot of our services. I do not upsell any of our services very much. If clients come to me and ask me, "Oh, I heard this, at a convention or whatever, I should be doing this or whatever," I'll tell them straight up, I won't lie to them just to sell them on something. In fact, a lot of times I'm shooting everything down because a lot of it is BS. So, but the other side of that is sometimes I am too honest and sometimes it comes off weird in emails. And I've been told several times, "Hey, you sound mean in your emails." But a lot of times it's because I'm just so focused and just all over the place. I'll just shoot off an email real quick. And as soon as it sends, I'm like, "Oh, crap. I should have reread that before I sent it," because that definitely sounds like I'm being a little harsh. And that's something I've been working on for years now, and I've been getting better at that. But yeah, sometimes being too open and too transparent sometimes will, shoot me in the foot sometimes.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Adler?
I would say I'm very even keeled, very even tempered. Sometimes they say law school takes the emotion out of you, but sort of, someone will tell me their problems in a confidential way. While showing empathy, I'm really just analyzing and being very analytical about it and sort of taking the emotion out of, let's say it's a partnership fight or business divorce. There's a lot of lies and screaming that goes into it. But at the end of the day, after we get past the lying or the scheming or why somebody stole money or something, we're going to be looking at the assets and the liabilities and trying to make a fair dissolution of this, either out of court or in court. And I think I take that in my personal life too, just very even keeled. Nothing really sets me, aflame. Sort of if my car has a flat tire, all right, well, we're going to deal with it and do what we have to do instead of getting all emotional about it. There's only so much that I can control. So staying even keeled, even tempered has served me well. I think my family well, my clients well.
Okay. This next question, I don't want any of you to go down the rabbit hole because this is the kind of question that can take you down the rabbit hole, but I don't want you. I want to, because it's something that's very out there now. And I was thinking about today, and I'm going to talk about AI, and I'm not talking Allen Iverson. What I like about AI, what I don't like about it, being a creator and being a writer, I don't really like AI in the certain areas because I think it takes away a lot of stuff. But I think talent will always overcome it. And talking to different actors, it worries them, voiceover guys and stuff like that. And the one thing I don't like about AI is I've seen people put these posts on LinkedIn. And I've talked to these people in real life, and they sound nothing like that. I mean, some of these people sound like morons. And I said they're some eloquent thing, of course, with your 5 points. And so that's just bothers me in AI. But we'll start with you, Jason, because you're in that field somewhat. Jason, what's your, and don't go down the rabbit hole, because I know when you talk to a computer person about AI, they're going to go forever. But what is your take on AI? Do you like it or do you dislike it? I mean, or do you think it's something we definitely need? Just give me a short answer. I mean, it can be a minute or two, but don't give me like eight hours, because we can all do that on certain topics like this.
Well, first and foremost, AI is here to stay. I don't think it's going away at this point. So, I think, yeah, it's scary for sure, what its capabilities are and where it could potentially go. But at this point, again, it's not going anywhere. And I think you just have to learn how to work with it and integrate with it, so that way it doesn't render you pointless. Obviously, with my industry and stuff like that, it is kind of scary for me, because it's there. AI website builders have been around for actually many years before any AI became big. So it's definitely been on the back of my mind, but we've integrated with it a couple of years ago. I've been working with ChatGPT mostly for code debugging and writing new scripts and stuff like that to help our clients with their applications and stuff like that, and also just tracking down bugs and stuff like that. It's helped speed up the process. But also we've also, with clients who have struggled with developing content, we've utilized ChatGPT to help them do that, just to get them going, to get through the process a lot quicker. So I think you just have to learn how to work with it. Again, it's here to stay. I don't think it's ever going to go away at this point.
Okay, how about you, Michael?
I don't fear I don't fear AI. I know it's there. It's garbage in, garbage out, especially in my world. So sometimes someone will say, "Hey, I drafted an employment letter. I used ChatGPT. Can you take a look at it?" And it's so plain and basic and probably not compliant with Pennsylvania or New Jersey law or anything that it's just obvious at first glance, because it's just so basic. But it's a good start. It can help business owners. It can help everybody. There's a lot of garbage in it, though, and there's biases in it. So you have to be wary, especially depending on what world you're using it. But I use it for fun. I also like predictive texting. If I'm texting somebody and in an iMessage, it'll guess what my next word's going to be. So it can all save us time. So you shouldn't fear it. You should just understand it and be wary of it and use it to its benefits. It's getting better. It's scary, but it's good.
You know what one part of the AI is I can't stand is you see it on Facebook. It looks like it's a turkey or a piece of food. Then it changes into an animal. And have you seen that? It's
or someone who has 6 fingers or something.
Yeah, but then this guy, like you're seeing this video, and this guy's looking. There's a turkey on his table, and all of a sudden it evolves, and then it's like a little puppy, and I go, why? And it's just creepy as fuck. And it just scares the hell out of me. So, how about you, Alex? What's your take on AI?
Yeah, I guess as it pertains to my industry being a financial planner, they've had robo advisors for years and things of that nature. And here's the thing, I'm not necessarily worried about less clientele coming on board because of it, because you can try to Google your own financial plan and you can get a pretty good summary of things, but then actually go and implement all of that yourself is a totally different story. So and I guess I'll make a quick joke about music too, because I've been seeing a lot of AI, songs generated on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. I kind of hate how good they are. The tunes are catchy, and my wife showed me one the other day it was a rap, kind of like Beastie Boys type of rap, but with all the characters of SpongeBob doing their "Oh, I'm Squidward and this is me," and it was hysterically funny and catchy. And I'm like, that scares me a little bit, because if they're able to write that good of whether it's comedic songs or just music in general without the human element, that scares me a little bit. But yeah, I think human musicians, and you always need the human element in some of these cases. But anytime there's emotion or complex decisions to be made, you need a person there to help you divulge through things, right? So anyway, I shouldn't say I'm necessarily scared it's going to take away my personal profession or the things that I enjoy. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it other than the goofy Instagram memes I see about it. But yeah, I guess that's my personal take on it as it pertains to the work that I do.
I'll tell you funny about the music. I was driving over today, and Layla from Clapton came on, which is such an
Clapton.
amazing song. No
Oh
AI
yeah.
is producing that. No, there's no AI who's going to
No.
produce that. And then and we all
Yep.
remember that part in this Goodfellas when they're killing the people and the piano is going. It's a montage. But
Yeah.
so we got a lawyer, computers, financial. There's a lot of you guys. You already told me what is a strong point, but it's like anything. There's a lot of you. So, Michael, why should I choose you? I can open a phone book and go, probably a ton of lawyers starting with the name A. So why? I mean, you told me, you're even keel, and that's great. But when it comes to choosing you for a business, why would I choose Michael Adler?
Yeah, I usually say that there's a lot of good lawyers that can draft a contract or negotiate a lease, but with me, you're probably also getting a chief marketing officer because I'm giving you my network as well. As soon as I'm meeting you, I'm trying to figure out how I can help you and give you back business more than you give me. So I've always seen that with clients. I've introduced clients to each other. I've found out if they don't know how to network, how they can get involved with networking. So I'm always trying to help everybody who comes in my circle with how to grow their circle. So that's always been a part of what I do.
Okay. How about you, Alex? There's a ton of you guys out there. Just go to a Chamber of Commerce event. There's a ton of you there. Go to any networking event. There's a ton of you guys there. Even though Alex has never showed up at Cocktails with Cooper, which we really don't have a lot of financial planners show up there. We just get like 70 people. And the next one's January 6 people at my sponsors, Splits Bar and Grill. But why should I choose you, Alex?
Yeah. So again, my persistence in making sure things get done correctly. Similar to Jason, I'm very honest and sometimes too brutally honest. People need to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, right? So if I sit in front of a 50-year-old couple who has $50,000 saved to their name, I'm not going to paint a picture that they're going to be able to retire successfully in 10 years without making some serious changes, right? So actually developing and showing, hey, here's where we're at today, but here's what needs to happen for us to have any sense of peace with our general financial plan. Not only that, but also the comprehensive nature of the work that I do. This isn't a slight against any other advisors, but a lot of folks actually don't know anything about student loans in general, right? So when I'm sitting down with somebody, we're doing soup to nuts planning. It's not just looking at their IRA or just looking at their cash flow. You have to look at everything to make sure it's all moving in the right direction, so that you're truly optimized. So for me, it's the comprehensive, full service planning and service. Like if somebody calls me or emails me, I'm never taking more than a day to get back to them on anything. Right now at the end of the year, lots of tax deadlines, things like that. I will be working next week to try to get things done before the end of the year. Because I know it'll put my clients in a better position. So yeah, it's that level of service, a comprehensive nature of things.
Okay. How about you, Jason? Why am I picking you, man? I can get a website. I can go into Fiverr. I can go to fiverr.com and pay, $20 and get a website that, it will be a picture of me, but it won't look like me. But I used Fiverr when I wrote my book, Stop the Salt. I wrote the cookbook 10 years ago, and I used it for the cover. And the guy sent me something. It was like nothing what I described. And I said, are you joking me? And so he goes, you don't have to pay me. I go, you're damn right I'm not going to pay you that $4 because this sucks. It was, but why am I going to go with you, Jason? Because as I said, I can go to Fiverr. I can find some college kid. Why am I coming to Omnia? Why am I coming?
Yeah, good luck with that. Fiverr's terrible. But here's where we're different. It's why would I choose you as a client? I've flipped the script the last couple of years because I've quickly learned through doing this that not everybody's a good fit for us. I found that, what we do and what we specialize in, not everybody either A, has the budget or the means to do what is necessary, everything in our wheelhouse that we apply and strategize for people's projects. But also they just might be an asshole. So I'll just tell them, hey, you're not a good fit for us. You got to go somewhere else. The other thing too, we do a lot of research up front on the client themselves, whether or not Hey, they're a good person. They got a good business model. They got a good business. We see potential in this, and we look to find opportunities where we can actually help them. If I can't find opportunities for them, I'll tell them straight up, hey, you're fine where you're at. You don't really need us. You can do this, that, and the other thing on your own without even needing us or hiring somebody else for it. So just do that. You don't need our services. I can't even tell you how many times I've turned away business over the last 3 years, actually since the pandemic. It's been a lot. Again, if we don't find opportunity, if we can't find opportunities and where we can actually help them, I won't just sell them on something to take them on as a client.
Okay.
Again, I'm not a sales guy. I don't upsell anything. I don't try and sell them things they don't need. So again, if they come to me and I take a look at everything they got going on, do the research. If I can't find an opportunity to help them, I'll tell them straight up and tell
Okay.
them, here,
So
do this.
now we know why we would come to you. I know we know all of you. We know what you know why. Now, what does it take for someone to have for you to refer them? So, like, if I was going to sit there and someone said, hey, I need a web guy, and I could say, Jason, I know he does good work. I've met with him. We've had coffee. We've talked about comedy. He's an interesting guy. And then there's certain things, but what is this? What are some qualities that someone needs? Because we've all referred someone who's done a shit job, and then it comes back on us, and then you're like, "What the hell, Cooper? What is that, man? Who's this? This guy he never called me back, or he did a crappy job, and he whatever, he didn't show up." But Alex, what does it take for you to refer someone? If you're going to refer someone, giving your word on your reputation, what qualities does that business have to have?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, for me personally, I pride myself on the service I provide, getting back to people, being personable, like that goes a long way. So when I'm referring to my other colleagues, whether it's a mortgage broker, an accountant, estate attorney, these are common, referral partners for me. They need to have kind of that same attitude. Like I can't be, I think myself as like a warm, friendly, empathetic person, so I can't send somebody giving them this treatment to somebody who's like stone cold and not giving them like you treat them like a human. I see that too often in the finance industry, and it's frustrating to see sometimes. So that's a big one for me, sending somebody that will treat them like a person, not a number. But secondly, they're going to answer the phone. They're going to give them the skinny, show them the honest, hey, here's the breakdown of how these things work, how they cost, and so on, and that the job gets done right. And I do check with my clients, after making an introduction like that, say, hey, how was it? How did it go? Because just like you said, Coop, it's like nothing's worse than having a comeback, and they're like, yeah, that was terrible. Like, why? How do you work with this guy? That's a really shitty feeling. So yeah, I always check in to see how the experience actually was to make sure they're getting taken care of.
Okay. How about you, Jason? What does it take for you to refer someone?
So kind of following up what my last question. So I built my business on building on long-term relationships. I'm about playing the long game. So I get to know these people that I do business with very well and on a personal level. A lot of my clients have my personal cell phone number, which I don't give out often, but a lot of my clients do have my personal number. So anytime that something comes up, whether it's a new client looking for this or somebody I meet in networking circles, my clients have already been vetted. Again, making sure that they're a good fit for us, and then we pick up the relationship from there. And then, over years of helping these people grow their businesses and establishing these relationships, I feel very trusting in all of our clients to be able to refer them out. And I tell a lot of people all the time, hey, if you need a guy, I have a guy for everything. So hit me up, and I have somebody who I vetted, who I trust wholeheartedly, that I have no problem giving out their information and making that introduction.
Okay, you got a guy for everything. You got a guy for crack. I want to smoke crack on Christmas Eve.
Well, except for crack.
I want to smoke crack. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to freebase crack before the Feast of Seven Fishes. It'll be a great night, and then you'll see me either dead or divorced. So it's going to be perfect.
I think you definitely see you either dead or divorced.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I'd be dead. Probably my heart would explode. Michael, referrals.
I think Jason and Alex hit a lot of the key points here that I keep in mind. I also sort of talk the mom test. Would I refer my own mother to this person?
Mm.
And she's tough. So, responsiveness is key. Being responsive to me as I'm trying to give you business, but also being responsive to the friend or client who I'm referring to you. Because that's how I do it. And I expect you'll treat them as if they're your best client, just like I treat all my clients as if they're my best clients. And then do the quality work and do it at a reasonable rate and be honest with them. That's it. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. So I think Alex and Jason hit a bunch of the good points, but the mom test is something I always keep in mind as somebody that would work with my mother.
Okay. So I usually ask this for in your whole life, but I'm going to change the question for the last 5 years. It can be personal, it can be professional. And we'll start with you, Michael. Who's someone who's played a really important role in your life as in your growth development in the last 5 years? And it can be personal, it can be professional. And why have they played a good role in your life? Like my wife, and well, it's been 12 years, was great for me because before I was at the bar every night and everything. And now I'm like, I sit at home and I fall asleep by 10 o'clock and I don't even drink on weeknights anymore. I'm like, what happened to me? But someone, Michael, give me someone in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to go with my wife as well. I mean, such a big impact on my life, made me softer, calls me out on my bullshit. And, as sort of somebody we're building the rest of our lives together, blending families very easily and making a beautiful home. And Steve, you've been a part of that too, and sort of come into our lives. And so we're grateful for you. You've been to our house, you've met my wife. I just think that's just made me a better person. And I'm so grateful for that. I tell her that every day. I appreciate her very much. Just made me a better person, appreciate things, but calls me out on my bullshit. That's the most important thing.
And when I was at your house, you had very good food and you had some good whiskey.
Absolutely.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. So, Jason,
Share that. Yeah.
someone important in in the last 5 years, someone who's played, and it can be business or professional. Sometimes it's something that, a lot of times people say their wives, but sometimes it's someone who's helped you in your business. But Jason, someone in the last 5 years that has really played an important role in your development.
Such a tough question because there's so many different moving parts to that. I'd have to say my uncle, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, again, was a business owner for 30 years. He was an executive chef, and then switched over to doing restaurant and kitchen design. But having lost my parents early, my aunt and uncle stepped up to the plate and just kind of took the reins as being that parental figures for me, coming up through my life and stuff like that. And he's just always been there. Anytime that I want to pick up the phone, I having a problem with this or, questions about this in regards to business or this, that, and the other thing, I can always reach out to him and he's always been there for me. So I'd have to say him for sure.
I see Alex looking. He's like, "Well, if I don't say my wife, she's gonna be really pissed. We're newlyweds, but I don't know if it's always that. But it's okay, Alex. Your wife probably won't watch. She might watch it. Alex's wife, he loves you to death. He's told me that at networking events as he was checking other women out. But no, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, Alex, someone who's someone. I mean, it can be your wife if you want, but whatever. Tell me.
Yeah, yeah. This is a tough one for me, and I don't want to make it sound like I just won like an Academy Award or something and thank the whole book. But I can honestly say, of course, my wife plays a huge role in things. It's calming me down after a rough day of work. I mean, managing people's money can be grating and thankless sometimes. So having her there to always make me feel supported and heard is an unbelievable value in my life. But other than that, I'm in a lot of communities. I'm inspired by so many people. My own clients inspire me. I think are amazing. I mean, people who own businesses, and yeah, I work with many, doctors who have a really rough, trajectory in their career, and they inspire me seeing what they go through too. So my clients, the community of yoga yogis that I go and practice with on a weekly basis, I think they're all fantastic, great people, just trying to get the most out of life. And whether it's the spiritual side of things, the business side of things, Just trying to find the bigger meaning in life and true happiness outside of material things and whatever else. But yeah, I could go on a long list. I'm already ranting a bit, but yeah, let's say the wife, a lot of clients, my family, of course, my friends. Like I'm just blessed to be surrounded by really people who are killing it. Like I'm so blessed to have the group of people in my life that I do. Really.
You mentioned the yoga. I'm surprised knowing, like, do merch, like the promotional companies ever brand yoga mats? That'd be like a good branding because a lot of people who have yoga have money or they
Oh yeah.
live a certain lifestyle. So I think that'd be like, that's what these promotional companies, they should brand yoga mats. So people, if you want to give me some free the Coop Tank yoga mats, because it's my logo is a very nice blue.
That's
Okay,
a
we're gonna
great
start with you on
idea.
this one, Alex, because you're a yogi and you're all metaphysical and all that bullshit now. I'm joking. I don't think it's bullshit. But this is a two-part, this is a question you can answer, and it can be the same answer. I don't think it is. Happiness and success in this point of your life. Alex, what is happiness and success to you right now? And if they're the same, that's okay. I don't think they're the same. For me, they aren't. But what is it for you?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I could define success without happiness being in there, right? I wouldn't feel successful. There's no metric I could find personally that if I hit a number, great. But if I'm miserable while achieving that, I don't consider that successful. Um, so I would have to say they are very closely linked. Um, yeah, happiness to me is feeling like I've done what I can within, day to day to achieve my goals, to make people happy, to move my life forward in a positive direction. And I guess success kind of falls right in line with that. So yeah, for me personally, they're very closely integrated.
Okay, that's yeah. Everyone is different. Like me last night, like I was making dinner and Joanne was laughing her ass off to Christmas Vacation, and I just that made me happy. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
happiness. I was like, wow, she's in there, she's listening to this, and I made a very good dinner. I posted it on Facebook. $4. Now, Jason, happiness and success, and they can be the same if it's the same to you.
Uh, Greatest Christmas movie ever, by the way. I'd have to say I agree with Alex that they are very closely linked. Like I said earlier, I think my happiness is directly derivative from the success of my clients. If they're successful, I'm successful, and
Yeah.
it just validates, me as a person, as a business owner, I should say, that we're doing the right thing. And when they're happy, I'm happy. Simple as that.
Mhm.
Okay, how about you, Michael? Happiness and success.
I look around, and when I'm sitting at a big table on Thanksgiving or another family meal and everybody's around having good food, the house is warm and everybody's laughing, that's happiness. I look around, I take a moment to just reflect on that. This weekend, I was down at the shore with some of my best friends that I've been friends with for 35 years with their families and just laughing our asses off, eating good food, having a few drinks. That's happiness. It's just spending the moment in the moment with friends and family and people you care about for a long time. Success is part of that. I mean, happiness is success and success is happiness a little bit. Um, my goals, I could speak to my financial advisor here, but again, as I said earlier, it's just make enough money that you're not worried about money, put a little more away than you need, and keep on doing the right things. And, if you keep doing that, you can't take it with you. So that's success to me.
Okay. So I met you all through networking, and networking is a very big part of business now. It's a matter of, I mean, I met a comic through Jason and a guy who might, came, I knew it because I met Jason through networking. So networking is very important to us. And I think, sometimes networking borders on socializing, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you're out for. But networking can be really good, and networking can be shitty sometimes. There's events that are good. There's events that are shitty. There's nothing better than I was at an event the other night. They had really good scotch, and they had really good food. And they had these little bacon wrapped hot dogs with brown sugar. So good. I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, and a pickle wrapped with like salami, and it's great for my arteries. But let's talk about networking, and we'll start with you, Michael, because you network a lot, and I met you through networking, and you help people network. What do you like about networking, and what do you not like about networking?
Yeah, I think it's a mindset. Like, I'm going out not to sell a widget. I'm not even going out to sell myself. I genuinely like meeting people and learning about people and then figuring out who in the room I can introduce the person I'm talking to if it's someone new or otherwise. So to me, it's a low stress thing. I'm not trying to hand out my card. I'm just trying to understand and meet new people and have them meet other people in my circle. And when I do that, it's a happy moment. It's a successful moment. And then if there's some bacon wrapped, scallops or salami on top of that and scotch, it's a great day. I'm very happy. So
What do you
networking
not
is,
like about it?
what do I not like? Well, the fakeness, somebody who comes up to you and, if they're trying to sell you property and casualty insurance and I already have a guy and they turn away and walk away. I mean, that's obvious. They're just there to hit a quota that night. And that says a lot about who they are and why they're there. And that's not the type of people that I want to build a long-term relationship with.
Well, you started off by saying you're not sitting there trying to sell yourself. But if you did sell yourself, do you think you have a good street value?
Yes.
Okay. Jason, what do you like about networking? Because we sat and we had coffee and we talked for an hour and a half. We could have talked a lot longer, and I found out more about you love for comedy and Nate. I think you're the one who likes Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, he's one of them for sure.
Yeah, and but so what do you like about networking? What do you not like about networking?
Well, I've always liked the aspect of meeting new people, meeting other business owners and stuff like that, and just learning about their business, and just building long-term relationships with other people and other business owners that I could potentially refer my own clients to, or vice versa. So it's kind of been a necessary evil because being a business owner, obviously when I got started, I helped get my name out there a lot because I was just networking 3, 4 times a week. And I was just pounding the pavement, just trying to make a name for myself. And I built up a pretty good reputation in South Jersey doing that. And then I expanded that, over the pandemic, everything went remote, which made it awesome for me because I've been working remote since 2009. I happen to be part of a group. It's a well-known networking group out there, and the remoteness of it allowed me to jump around because we do business all across the country. So I jumped around to dozens of different states because everything was remote, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I established really good connections all across the country, met a bunch of awesome new people, and that has always just been the great part of it, is just meeting new people. I enjoy that. I'm not really that much of a social butterfly, but in this setting, I seem to thrive in it pretty well. So the thing that I don't like about it, driving to events.
That's good. That's true. Yeah, that could be a pain in the ass.
Living in Jersey, it is brutal. Which is why I like the whole remoteness of it. I was part of a chapter of this group out of Tom's River for the last 4 years, and they just switched to all in person, and I had to switch to something over here in Marlton. Luckily, there was a spot open, so a little bit closer to home, but even just that drive, I just don't like it. Driving in Jersey stinks. I'm not a fan.
Try living in LA. God, it's 10 times
Oh,
worse.
no, never.
Yeah. Alex, likes and dislike.
Yeah, likes. I love meeting new people. It's a ton of fun. And I started in this career when I was 25, and the joke in our industry was like, oh, nobody takes you seriously until you have like some gray hair and such. So I'm working on it. Maybe you guys can give me some tips. Now, all jokes aside, but yeah, it was really great to just meet a ton. I mean, of course, that's where I met you, Steve. Actually, you were my very first networking contact ever. I don't even know if you know this, but I was like shitting my pants driving to this Camden County Chamber of Commerce event. I was like, I just got my Series 7 license, and I'm going to go talk to all these people about like what I do. Like, this is crazy. And you were there to help like introduce me to some people, and you made it so much cooler. And just seeing like people like you who are just normal people who are just trying to start conversations, make relationships. Like, that made me feel so much more relaxed. And yeah, so I appreciate you for that, truly. But things I don't love about it are I'm a genuine heart first person. Like I can't pretend to be anything I'm not. And I agree with Mike. Like sometimes some of the fakeness, like it's like you're looking at a human LinkedIn feed, where everyone's just bragging about how great they are and how amazing life is and so on and so forth. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You want to put your best foot forward. You don't come to these things and you're like, oh, my life sucks and I had the worst day ever. But it's, I've been to somewhere people are strictly there to like just get business and do business. And you'll try to say hi or start a conversation with someone new. And as soon as they find out you're not in their field, they'll just kind of like give you the cold shoulder. And that feels shitty. I mean, we're all people just trying to get to know each other. There's always an opportunity to help people. So not a huge fan of the ones where, you're getting turned away or looked at funny for just trying to meet new people and start a conversation regardless of business or not.
Okay. We're coming up to the final question because it's about that time. And later, me and Joe Gangemi are going to get some pizza. So I hope Joe looked at the Crust and Fire menu. Me and Joe go, Joe loves his pizza. Joe loves podcasting and Joe loves pizza, man. So if you want to talk podcasting and you want to hear some good insight, take Joe for pizza. He should have a podcast called Pizza and Podcasting. And I don't know. Hopefully you looked at the menu, Joe, because we've gotten the Rustic and we've gotten the Brooklyn, I think. We've got a few of them. Anyway, final question. We'll start with you, Jason. We'll go around the horn. Someone comes up to you looking at you as a mentor and about, getting started in business or being successful in life or just restarting their life. What advice do you give to them for success, Jason?
It's interesting because this just actually happened 2 weeks ago. Again, I just recently switched chapters to this networking group. And there was another kid there just starting out, just starting his own business. He does videography. And we decided to meet for a one-to-one at our spot, Coop, over at Harvest. And he asked me that question. He basically just threw it out there. It's like, what should I be doing? And I told him networking. Just get out and do networking. It helped build my business when I got started, and just pay attention to who you're meeting and who you're talking to. Know that your time is valuable to you, is your biggest commodity, and just decide which direction you need to go. That's going to help grow your business and build and find other people, like-minded individuals who are going to help build your business. Find your best referral partners, because that's what helped me in the beginning. Is that IT companies are our best power partners because they work with computers. They get asked about this, that, and the other thing all the time, and especially when it comes to websites, just because they work with computers. So they've become our biggest power partners, and so I just kind of conveyed that to him as like, get in front of the people who could potentially refer you out the most, and then hold on to them.
Okay. How about you, Michael? You're a mentor. What advice do you give?
Yeah, I really like Jason's answer about networking. I mean, all of us are here because we like networking, and it's been so important to our personal friendships and relationships and business relationships. So I'll add on to that, but also the passion. Like, find your passion, be passionate about it, show that you're passionate about it, be someone interesting that people like, and know your why. You've asked great questions, Steve, today. A lot of it goes to sort of why we're doing what we're doing, not how we got there, but sort of why. And think about that and constantly reflect upon that. Find your happiness, find your success through that.
Okay.
Great
How about
questions.
you? How about you, Alex?
Yeah, definitely everything Jason and Mike said, spot on. I might just add like, persistence, patience, be humble, always be learning. There's so much to know. So, and again, I can only speak from my personal experience. Like, the finance industry is so broad. There's so many different problems. There's so many different things that can be solved, and you can't learn everything at once. So, pick a lane, stick in that for a while, really educate yourself well, and then kind of move on to the next from there. Don't try and take everything in at once, or nothing's really going to resonate or stick with you. So yeah, I'd say that more of a focused sort of approach on what you're doing, finding your passion, and then growing it from there.
All right. Well, this has been great, guys. Jason, how can people get in touch with you, Jason? How can they get in touch with Omnia Creative?
Obviously, they can go to our website, omniacreativestudio.com, or you can just Google search Omnia Creative That's spelled O-M as in Michael, N as in Nancy, I-A. A lot of people just say Omni Creative and they forget the A. So it's crucial to put that in Google search and we come up at the top. So just, yeah, simple enough.
Wouldn't it have been great if he says we don't have a website? Michael, how can they get in touch with you?
Connect with me on LinkedIn or any social media channel at Madler9000. But LinkedIn is usually how people reach out to me initially, or adlerlawpa.com.
And you, Alex?
LinkedIn, great place. I have a business Facebook page too. I probably need to update that. And then, of course, our Diamond State Financial website. I have my own, profile on there. You can find me on there, and you can shoot me an email.
Okay, so people, please look these people up if you need their services. You know, they're all good people. They wouldn't be on the show if they aren't. You can get in touch with me. Email me at the Coop Tank at yahoo.com. Go on the YouTube. Look up the Coop Tank. Watch past shows. You get a lot of good insight. And also like them and rate them. Also, while you're over there, look at Coop's Comedy Corner. It's my new YouTube through Comedy Trainwreck Productions out of Philadelphia. I interview some great comics. I've had Steve Scrovan, winner from Emmy winner for Everyone Loves Raymond, Jimmy Schubert, Larry Ambrose, who wrote 3 of Joan Rivers' books. We talk about comedy and we talk about business because it's the same. Or you can go to coopertalk.net, my other podcast. I have over 1,026 episodes. I haven't recorded lately, but I just recorded Uncle Cracker, and I ordered my friend Rob Mailhouse, who's a drummer from Dogstar. So they'll be hitting it soon. And also, if you hate public speaking, reach out to me. I teach a course. I can coach you. I can teach a course where we teach you how to public speak better through stand-up comedy. You'll do your final performance at the Soundplex, which is a great place where I host comedy at. And January 6th at Laurel Lanes and Splits, my great sponsor, Cocktails with Cooper. It's from 4:30 to 7. We always get around 70 people. Just come. It's a great networking event. No pretense. You pay your own tab. If you walk in, if you think it sucks, you leave. You didn't lose any money. So that's about it. Don't forget Joe Gangemi and SuiteRecording, SUIT recording.com. And Joe, before we go, give a quick plug for Podcast Beacon.
Yeah, thanks, Coop. So the Podcast Beacon is a series of wearable devices that allow you to really easily share your content, your podcast, your business, your website, pretty much any digital destination. And it's as simple as a tap of a smartphone. So if you're looking to learn more about that, you can go to podcastbeacon.com, or you can reach out to me at Joe at SuiteRecording.com. That's SUITE. And thank you, Coop. Appreciate that.
So reach out to him. And also, people, have a great 2025. When you hear this, it'll be the day after Christmas and Hanukkah. Well, Hanukkah in the middle of Hanukkah. Hope you had a good Christmas and Hanukkah. So happy 2025. Thank you all. I'm Steve Cooper, and I'll talk to you guys next time.